punk rock and drinking were always the thing for me. Now it's like, punk rock and being healthy. So there's, a great deal of people that I look up to in the punk rock world too, who are sober. Just so many people that I look up to that I was just like, shit, man, they seem happy, and they seem like if they can do that, I can too. So I put up some boundaries, and I don't work as much anymore. And having, a really good routine, CrossFit workouts or stretching and meditation in the morning really helped me to put myself in a balanced sort of state of mind. The last run we did, me and the guys woke up early and we did a workout instead of, sleeping in until 5 minutes before we had to get back in the van and hit the road. So.
Welcome to the Collaborative Resource Hub by Wellness Provisions. We're bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. I'm Amy McBride, owner of Wellness Provisions, the most badass wellness business. Hey, are you feeling a little stuck in life? I offer wellness coaching sessions. Book a session with me if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead. Sessions are available worldwide. And check this out. Wellness Provisions supplies rock and rollers with high-quality supplements. We've simplified your shopping experience and given you a trustworthy place to go where you can essentially shop blindfolded. And did you know all our Collaborative Resource Hub interviews air on YouTube as well as all major podcast platforms? Subscribe to stay in the loop. Go immerse yourself in the full Collaborative Resource Hub experience over on our website. You'll have access to helpful resources that will inspire and educate you. So let's inspire each other. If that guy did it, so can you. Last but not least, my legal disclaimer. Nothing in this interview or the Collaborative Resource Hub substitutes medical advice. Please connect with your GP if you need medical guidance. Sean, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely great. It's a nice morning. I'm grateful to be here. We got coffee and water, and we just played our first shows in Southern California in a year and a half. So last night, so I'm a little tired, but I'm super excited because we get to do it again tonight.
Oh, cool. So
we just played with Bad Cop, Make War, and the Venomous Pinks at Alex's Bar in Long Beach last night. Sold out show, and tonight we get to do it again in San Diego. So it's nice to kind of have some normality going back in life.
Yeah.
Still a little sketchy, but I don't know, after, the last year and a half that everyone's had, it was nice to see some joy in people's masked up faces.
That's it. Happiness is really good for your health. So think of it like a dose of medicine, like doing something that like makes you super excited and everyone's happy. That's really good for the brain and body.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just, so many people that we used to see so regularly that it was just, you're just overjoyed to see some faces you haven't seen in so long that, before you don't take people for granted, but you weren't thinking like, oh shit, I'm not going to see these people for, the next 18 months or however long it's been. And that wasn't really something I'd processed before. I don't think, before going into this.
So if someone hasn't, okay, so you're the bassist in The Last Gang. If someone hasn't heard your band before, how would you describe your music?
We're just a punk band. We like melody, we like groove. We don't try to stick to one sort of sound. We like to be all over the place a little bit. Our new record's coming out October 8th, which we're really excited about. It's called Noise, Noise, Noise. We took a new direction. It's we really love the Clash, and we love how the Clash evolved, and we just want to evolve as well. We don't want to be doing the same music that we've been doing forever. Always keep it new and keep it fresh and fun. So I think that we're going that direction. So it's exciting and fun.
Good. Yeah, I truly appreciate bands who will allow themselves to explore other sounds and to evolve, because I really don't want to listen to the same record like every time a new one. Like, I don't want the same sound. It gets pretty boring.
Right. Especially if you really love a band and they put out a record that just goes by the same formula, the same sort of pattern of songs and the same tempo and all that. And, some bands have made a great living off of that. But for us, I think it's we really try to push ourselves. And when we're in the studio, we worked with Cameron Webb on this last record, and he really, he's good at pushing us. He's good at pushing Brenna, especially, and our singer and guitarist Brenna Red. She's a talented human being. So, and when she's pushed, she really shows up and shows what she can do. I think she really did that on this last record. Everybody did. Everybody worked their ass off.
Good for you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so subject change.
Mm-hmm.
We get one music question and then the rest is wellness. So what does wellness mean to you?
Wellness, it's a completely different thing to me now, because I never really used to think about it. Just feeling good and having energy and having, positive spirit, just because I never used to really be a positive human all the time. Not that I'm positive all the time. I'm like, everything's great. But when I get up and I'm on, a good routine, and I get myself outside for a run or a bike ride, do a really strenuous workout, I feel great after. And it's just like my mind is balanced and my body feels good. And as long as I don't, pull something in my back, which seems to be a reoccurring issue the last little bit here. But yeah, wellness is just, being a good feeling human being.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I haven't woke up with a hangover in so long now. It's just like every day I wake up feeling good and balanced. I'm very grateful for it.
When it hasn't been the norm for so long, and then it shifts into that, and then you realize how good that space feels. It's got to bring about a lot of gratitude.
Absolutely. And it's, you feel like you've achieved something, you're not just sitting your ass on the couch, waiting till the next day or, next week, and change things later. It's like, no, do it now. I could be, 6 a.m. and I don't want to get my ass out of bed. But when I do, and I'm outside riding or, working out or whatever, or, getting back, eating a balanced diet, these are things that I never used to think about. And being on with my band, I used to feel like shit all the time, just because I would, my fuel was shitty food and alcohol. And aside from what it does to your body, just like your mind, the only time I would be back to feeling good was when I would, when I'd be drinking again, the next night. It's just to live a life with having, your health and, your just body feel fucking right.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like I said, on the road, it's huge. There's nothing worse than just being fucking sack of shit in the van, just useless, because you drink 20 beers every night or whatever it is that you're doing. But the last run we did, me and the guys woke up early and we did a workout instead of sleeping in until 5 minutes before we had to get back in the van and hit the road. It's really special, and it's something that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah. So what I guess was there like an aha moment, or what push came to shove that prompted you to finally kind of clean up your act and like stick with that change?
There was a lot of aha moments. I got into a number of incidents when I was younger, DUI, another incident, hit and run, where I didn't hit a human, I hit a car and took off. And then aside from that, just, what it was doing to my mind, I was like depressed and anxious all the time. And I didn't know that, I knew that, alcohol was an issue here, but taking that step to stop was just really frightening. And especially for me in social situations, I'm not, that's another thing I've had to overcome is social anxiety. I'm sure everybody has it, but
I do.
Yeah. Me too. But drinking when you're out, with a bunch of people, all of a sudden, you have a couple shots and a couple drinks in you, and, you can sit there and talk to the people who you otherwise I have to work to do it. I don't always want to sit there and interact with people that I don't know, but, I want to, but it's good work for you, it's good discipline. And it's like, you actually have to be a real human, not just like artificially, just like intoxicated to be able to enjoy yourself. And I think I was very frightened of that for a very long time. But, you step outside yourself and you do it. But anyway, the real moment, it was just, the last, I think 2018, 2019, the band was doing more than I ever thought that we would be doing. And I always thought, like, okay, if that happens, good things happen, I could stop drinking. But I wasn't. I was still just, you just want more and more and more, and you're never really satisfied. I'd go through, these fucked up benders and, get to the end of it. And I'd just be like, what was the last 72 hours about? What did I just do? And nothing was changing. And I just saw like the ridiculousness of it all. I'm living my life. My hobbies are, drinking, when I'm not working. And why am I doing this? It was just making everything a lot harder than it needed to be. And then, I stopped drinking January 16th of 2020. That was a whole nother thing in itself, because obviously a lot of us were isolated for a while shortly after that. Luckily, I was, we call it an essential worker. So I work in the restaurant industries. I still worked, which I think was probably important for me to have that, because
some baseline during your day and week. Yeah.
First, the band was gone. There was no music. We weren't seeing each other at all for a couple months. So that was really quite depressing. But I think working out really got me through it. Having like a routine and waking up every morning and just being focused on getting myself in shape, because I knew if I could get my body in shape, my mind will start to kind of get better. And I was vegetarian before, but I went, completely vegan when I stopped drinking as well. So I had to focus on, making my own food and so many different things that helped me that weren't, AA or
Did you have other friends like who are sober that you could sort of like lean on?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the punk rock community that, I was able to really look up to and DM back and forth or text message back and forth, or, there's some people at work that I talk to that are sober. So there's a group of people that I was able to talk to. And then, my closest friends weren't really like I was. They didn't drink all the time. So it wasn't like I had to find new friends. I had to straighten myself out. There's, a great deal of people that I look up to in the punk rock world too, who are sober. Dave Haas. I love his music, and that guy rips it up. And I saw he's doing it sober. I'm like, well, shit. Lenny Lashley. Just so many people that I look up to that I was just like, shit, man. They seem happy, and they seem like if they can do that, I can too. So
exactly. Yeah, it's true. But that's it, like having some kind of like inspiration and then connecting with other people that, your little network, your community. Like, what do you kind of incorporate, whether it's daily or, like feeling balanced? So like your morning, if you have like a morning routine, or like what kind of stuff do you do that helps you stay level?
I do. This is probably why my back's always screwed up, but I do CrossFit workouts, which is, it's about 10 years ago, I worked out. My good buddy of mine, Alex Verkatzis, he's the vocalist or the ex-vocalist from Atreyu. I started working out with him about 10 years ago. He had a gym and he got me into CrossFit, and I really loved it. I had to focus so much, and it's just like, so I would get up in the morning and there were no gyms open. So I set up a little gym. I have a little backyard. So I was able to do that, and just kind of, when I'm like almost about to feel like I'm like about to pass out, that's like the best to me for some reason. I'm just like going so hard, trying to get that last like pull up in, or, that last lap or whatever. And I just feel like, so yeah, waking up and just exerting as much as I possibly can. It's like drinking 15 cups of coffee to me. It's just like really gets me going, and it gets me focused, and it gets my mind in the right way. And then after that, I sit down and I do, 10, 15 minutes of stretching, and then, some meditation, some breathing meditation. And then I go to work. And I work a lot. So I work for a family business. They expect a lot from us. So during the pandemic, we had a skeleton crew. So, it was me and my cousins and my brother doing a lot of work. And we do a lot of work anyway, but, we were counting on a lot more. And that was a big source of my drinking. I was, pushing myself too hard at that job. And it was just, 15-hour days or whatever. It was too much. And it was pushing me to just hate life and just want to escape it. I put up some boundaries, and I don't work as much anymore. And having, a really good routine, CrossFit workouts or stretching and meditation in the morning really, really helped me to put myself in a balanced sort of state of mind.
That's awesome.
To give me a good day, not rush to anger, not to get too stressed out or take things too seriously.
Yeah. Here's an advert in less than 20 seconds. Did you know that Wellness Provisions offers one-on-one wellness sessions? Yep. So if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead in life, but feeling a little stuck, then book a session and let's get you unstuck. Now back to the interview. Have you noticed, I mean, it sounds like you have, that like the meditation and breath work has kind of created that space for pause, so that your fuse isn't as short?
Yeah, absolutely. If something triggers me at work, I can stop and think, in the grand scheme of things, how fucking important is this, whatever the hell it is, it's usually not enough to be necessary to bring me to a point of anger, which before I think there were underlying issues. It wouldn't be because one of our employees pulled the wrong thing and now I have to go switch it out for whatever. There would probably be more going on in my life that would spark me to anger. So, but yeah, it definitely has created some space for me to pause and kind of think things through, which, my mind used to automatically just go to a couple hours from now, I'll be fucking just sitting at the bar, and I can forget about it then. I've come a long way in 19 months since I put down the bottle. It's exciting.
It's so fucking cool. I mean, that's a lot to like start adding in that's a lot of like awareness and really positive, healthy choices. And even, setting boundaries at work, and what you are willing to give, like that's hard for so many people to do that even.
Yeah. I mean, our family, they're a hardworking Italian family. My grandpa came over from Italy, so it's just like, we're not just given things and they expect a lot from us, and we give it, we put in our best effort, but at some point I feel like just got to kind of stop pleasing people and think about yourself, So that's been huge for me too. I used to just, I would be fucking resentful towards you, but I'd be doing it and I'd be like, just to fucking please you. It's like, even though it's like I fucking resent you, but watch me fucking work 15 hours today.
I'll show you. You're still getting my best work.
Yeah. So a lot of changes, and it was gradual. It's not just like overnight. When I think that, what's today, 14th? In 2 days I'll have 19 months without a drink of alcohol. It's like, Jesus, how fucking crazy is that? And my band has been so supportive of it. Drunk Sean wasn't a real dependable or steady. Sean, very volatile, and you don't know where you're going to find him if you're going to find him. So they're much happier. The other good thing is they didn't party like I did. They didn't drink like I did. So, they'll have like 2-3 beers throughout the night. And I'm like, wow, man, it's impressive that you can just have a couple. And that's, people will ask me, well, why don't you just, try to control it? It's like, I can't fucking control it. It's like, I don't want to have one beer. I want to have 20, So them having like, people that are normal drinkers in the band, I'm fortunate in that, because if I was in a group of people that were just like me, then that would be a problem for me.
Yeah.
I might rethink my place in the band, but they've been fucking awesome. And everybody in all the other bands that we played with, Get Dead, Bad Cop, everybody's just been so rad and supportive of the new lifestyle that I've decided to lead. So.
That's so cool. So what does eating healthy look like to you? Because you said like you make a lot of your own food, which most people don't do that anymore, or they just opt for super processed stuff. So what's your deal?
Right. So like, obviously I have my plant-based protein that I drink. And then, I'll buy a bunch of broccoli and tofu and, cauliflower rice, or even quinoa or whatever, and just put it all together. I make, vegan eggplant. Like I said, I'm Italian, so I try to cook, as much vegan Italian as I can. I thought it would be so hard to cook Italian food without cheese, but it's really not. it's a lot better, and you can actually taste the food. You don't just taste cheese. Go try to find something to make from scratch. And it's gotten a little less, you know, I mean, I'll make, just because things are opening back up, I don't get home from work as early as I was before. That's one of the worst things too, is cutting up all your produce at the end of a long day. A couple weeks ago, I was so tired, I took like a thing of udon noodles and I did that with a bunch of boiling hot water in it. And the boiling hot water went like this and right onto the top of my foot. Yeah, that was awful. It left a pretty gross mark. So yeah, when you're tired and cooking at the end of your day, last night or the night before, I think I have a dull chef's knife right now, and I was cutting up some bell peppers and it slipped, almost hit my fucking one of these fingers, and I was like, that would have pissed off my band and myself. I have to be a little more focused when I cook food and cut up things at night. So, but yeah, that's kind of what my cooking looks like.
Let me ask you, is there anything that you do in the evenings as like routine stuff, like, or maybe I guess if it's stuff that you do any other time, like journaling or practicing gratitude or anything like that?
You know, I'll journal a little bit here and there, you know, in the evening. And also, you know, if I've had a rough day, try to kind of meditate and stuff like that. And then obviously in the evenings, I'm also have to practice my instrument. So there's that too. So I get home and I'm like super busy. You know, I've also got these two cats running around and they shed a lot. So they have to vacuum constantly.
But if when you get home from work and if you meditate, do you feel recharged, almost like you had a nap?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm so tired. It's almost like I need to get like a good night's sleep and I'm recharged for the next day. That's not to say that I get home and I'm not, you know, I'm absolutely grateful when I get home. So I'd say I definitely practice gratitude. I'm grateful to be home from work and B, just, you know, having a place to come home to, right? Two wonderful little felines wherever they are. I can't believe they're not like just jumping into the screen. They usually are.
The one jumped up onto the cat tree, but that's been it. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah. So now that things are opening up, I definitely need to continue to grow and do a little more. Don't get complacent. Complacency's always been my worst enemy.
Are there things that you kind of have been, I guess, things that you know you want to start incorporating or that you're curious about exploring, or like maybe you want to try this other kind of meditation? Like, what's your self-growth short-term or long-term future look like?
Yeah, so when I first got several years ago, refuge recovery, I learned about that through reading
Dharma Punks.
Levine, yeah, and Noah Levine's books and all that, and I was actually going to some refuge recovery meetings years ago, and I'd like to get back to that and continuing to, you know, study Buddhism and mindfulness is what I'm currently reading.
Cool.
Mindfulness. I feel like there's a lot more that I can do, because I do feel like I've sort of done this DIY thing for the last 18 months. And I mean, I would like to get back to some refuge recovery meetings and stuff like that. So I went to school and graduated with a degree in journalism. And I wanted to do, you know, I wanted to be a reporter. And then I started playing music with the Last Gang. And I was like, I think I'm going to do this for a while instead. But yeah, I'd love to, you know, start utilizing my writing skills again, which I have kind of neglected for the last little bit. That's definitely one thing that I would like to utilize. I'd also like to start helping out with some, you know, charities. My friend, you know, Stacy D, she runs this shelter on the sidewalk project. I'd like to get involved and help with that a lot more. So I know there's opportunities where I can be of service, where I just need to kind of step outside myself and start giving back more. It's definitely something that I'd like to do. The last year is it's tough to get out, just because, you know, just trying to stay safe for the last year or so. But it's about time that I can start, you know, stepping out and not use it as an excuse to be complacent and ultimately lazy. Right.
Well, and the other thing too is if you kind of like push yourself and get the ball rolling and you start doing like the volunteer work, you're around people, you're chatting, and then that's likely going to help you kind of break out of the social anxiety kind of.
Right. No, and then that's a big part of it too. It's like I can think about it all the time, like, yeah, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then like that part of me, I'm like, it's just like I'm just fucking nervous. And this coming from somebody, like I was talking to somebody last night. Oh, I had to do an interview with a couple of people last night for the band, and I was like, I'm so nervous, and I'm nervous about this interaction that we're having. And I was like thinking about it, like, oh man, and like somebody said to me, "You're nervous doing this, but you weren't nervous doing that, like, jumping around on stage with a big kid." It's like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't see the audience. I don't. I've been doing that for so long.
Well, you don't see the audience here either. It's just me and you bullshitting.
Yeah, I know, but someone's gonna see it eventually. No, it's all good. But no, you're absolutely right. Taking those steps and just, putting yourself in those what you think are going to be uncomfortable situations. And I've come to learn that a lot of the times those situations end up being really, really great.
Almost every time they end up being really fulfilling, really fun. So it's
Right.
like you have to remember that feeling the next time something comes up that you're like, oh no, I feel blocked on that. You have to like make a mantra, affirmation, something to like remind yourself of that feeling. Another thing that I do, because sometimes like I either get stressed out or anxiety if there's things that people, like if I'm supposed like a last minute hangout or, things that come up kind of like randomly, or even if it's planned, if I like write it down in my daily or weekly to-do list and I keep seeing that it's there, or if it's, something's coming, then it's like, it gives me more time to mentally prepare. And then I have less anxiety about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that's 95% of the reason why sometimes I'll back out of something is just social anxiety. And I mean, that's why when I was, a teenager, I got into drinking. It's like, oh, this fixed that. This is great. And then, obviously that becomes part of your identity and part of, how you cope. And it's very unhealthy. But
Yeah.
that I definitely want to get outside myself and get back. And you're absolutely right. So what is it that you guys do exactly?
So I do these interviews as part of the Collaborative Resource Hub, which is a project that my business does. So my business, I sell supplements and I do like wellness coaching. But I really want to help people. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I've sort of ended up kind of falling into just being like really mixing wellness and like punk rock, basically, because that's who I am. So I just mashed them together. But I'm super into supplements and I really just want to help people and connect people with really good, trustworthy resources, information, something ingestible like the supplements, like whatever. So that's sort of like what I do.
That's rad.
Yeah, the tagline is bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. So it's all of that stuff.
Right. Yeah. And that's really cool because it's just, I don't know, punk rock and drinking were always the thing for me. Now it's like, punk rock and being healthy. So I think that's really rad.
Yeah. And the more people, that I'm talking to, they are of that mindset. And so, but still, it's like while that's happening, seems like 90% of everybody else hasn't gotten that memo yet. And it's still, cool to just not take care of yourself like that. But so I just want to just change that narrative and make people realize that they can make other choices.
Hi.
So yeah. And I love doing the interviews because it's just, it makes it relatable, just like you and the musicians you look up to and are inspired from. That's exactly what all this is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a really, really exciting journey. I mean, once you really start living life and I mean, shit, I was up in Montana last month. My little sister lives up there, and, you know, waking up at 7 a.m. to go on like a beautiful hike, it's just like, fuck, so grateful for that. You know what I mean? Because before I would have, you know, just not been feeling well enough, because I would have, you know, basically been drinking most of the time. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd still be sleeping or hungover.
yeah, totally. And there's one thing about me: when I was hungover, all that I could do was just get up and keep drinking. There's like, my day was shot, and it was just like, that was another one of the reasons why I was like, I gotta stop doing this. This is just fucking stealing my life from me. What am I accomplishing? It's like, and now, you know, you get up early, and like I said, in Montana, you go for this fucking amazing hike, and you're just like, man, these are things that I just wouldn't have experienced before. You know, it's a really fun new way of living.
Because you're actually living.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have a quote that you like a lot?
Oh yeah. So I'm a big fan of Hunter Thompson's work. He's one of the reasons why I got into journalism. I thought it'd be really fun to just get fucked up on drugs and like go and cover stories. And then I realized, like, it doesn't really work like that. I don't know how the hell that guy did it, but he pushed the limits. But in his book Hell's Angels, he wrote, "The edge. There is no honest way to explain it, because the only people who really know where it is are the ones who have gone over." So it's just, I'm happy that I don't know the edge.
I like that. That's a good sentiment. That's good.
Of his work, I no longer want to live my life in the same manner that he did. So
yeah, good life goals you have now.
Right.
Okay, so for my business, the tagline is delay dying. So if you could give advice, you know, suggestions, anything like that to someone on how to delay dying, or in other words, live happier and healthier, what are some things you would offer?
Help others. Be fucking kind to people. It goes a long way, you know? I mean, who have you ever met and been like, that guy was a dick? What an awesome person. And then, you know, I mean, fuck, if you're bogged down with addiction and you know, you're not liking it, I mean, if you're perfectly happy living that way, I mean, then keep doing it. But if it's not making you happy, you can change it, you know? It's all up to you. And that's you know, I mean, in AA, you know, they tell you, you know, I mean, like, you know, God help lift the burden, you know, whatever you want to believe, that's cool. But I'm not taking this shit away from me. I had to get up and do this shit myself. There wasn't somebody that did it for me. So you can do it too. You know, I mean, it might be hard work, but soon that change is going to happen. For me, it took me a long time to stop reflecting on and, you know, wanting to consume whatever it was that I wanted to consume at that point in time. It took a lot of months for that shit to exit my brain. But once it did, you know, I mean, you get on the other side of that, you can actually enjoy your loved ones. You can actually, you know, not make excuses to miss family gatherings. There's help out there, and if you want it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's it. It's everything comes down to a choice, and if you want it enough, you'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Cool. Do you guys have anything cool coming up that you want to share on? You have the album early October, you said?
The single just came out, the music video for our song Noise, Noise, Noise. It's a super fun video if you haven't seen it. It's don't take us seriously, because we're not trying to be serious. It's a total spoof, sort of parody of the movie The Warriors from the 1970s. And like I said, the song is called Noise, Noise, Noise. And the record of the same name, Noise, 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 comes out October 8th. So we're really excited about that. And in November, we'll be out on a long, I think, 18-show tour with Teenage Bottle Rocket.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. and we are climbing this tree. You just put them on the tree. Got a lot of awesome stuff coming up that we're so excited about.
Cool.
But yeah, check out the new record when it comes out. Check out the new single. Fun stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all exciting. And then you get to appreciate all of this cool shit that's coming down the pipeline for you, like totally in your body, in the now, with full awareness. So I'm happy for you and all the change that you've created for yourself. And thank you for sharing, because it will inspire people, because it's fucking cool. So thank you. All right, have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
CPC crew running, bringing knuckles to brawl down a British engine, meaning getting traditional. Paint it up, spike it out, the gang is ready tonight. Take the 42 north past Electric to right. Too few of us know we could never contend. It's the noise that kept it so close, but the words were spoken. It's the last episode when the buses stopped running and the flash led to right. Head ahead past the shoulders to the new music right. Too few of us know we could never contend. The music and nostalgia burnt a hole in our head.